my throat when I say I miss you. Reality is a splitting and the timing ain't always fitting. Nothing to do now except express what's in you. Speak on what you've been through and what you've been through. Mother Ark of the Divine.
India and the Midwest. My sister got married on Long Island. The air was sometimes hot but not sticky, and the sun set in a kind of way that people will talk about at Christmas.
More persuasive when it's in a good story. The best painters I know work and live in closet studios, taking day jobs to buy enough of their life back for the diligent pursuit, largely in solitude of an artistic vision that'll contribute in perpetuity to the spirit of humanity.
Plastic water slide mat with him. I want to put scale on Bella's leg with him. He would put the glue on each scale, give them to me, and I would put them on Bella's leg.
Nice one. There's a beautiful simplicity to the big sniff, an hour-long pleasure along the passageway from nostril to bloodstream to brain.
September 6th, plausible deniability. Stacker Lee and Mac the Knife party through your responsibilities. Ready to play Vegas. Is this thing on? Going on stage is better than sex. O Tribbiano, we love thee, Tribbiano. Penny wise and pound foolish. There are many great locations at which to drop off rental cars. Stuffing envelopes, walking through resorts. Please remember MDMA in your will. Angels deserve to live in heaven. 9/8 NYFW. The Queen is dead. We were Elizabethan. I don't own 2,000 tambourines. Not too shabby. Noxo, Lurk, Had, Booter, Ikari, Caspa. Wish my legs never hurt. 2 days later of resting. We played Strange Stage. Chaz Keys. Get bit by mosquitoes. This is supposed to be the fucking door, you assholes. Should have brought a jacket. In New York City, it's hard to know how to dress between seasons. Came out early to sightsee and prepare. These mosquitoes look like tiny drones. Somebody said flaneur worker. I was like, yeah. Noticed and acknowledged. But there was not a word which brought it to the fore of recognition. Zoom scooters by, red unagi. I'm getting eaten alive by bugs. Getting loaded and staring at the buildings being filled with electricity. Black cherry and lemon. This city is a comic book. Its windows panels. Lights at night. Hash marks in verse to indicate shadows on drawings. Illuminating contour, body and edge in the negative. Further springs, only Miami would dox it out. Champagne headache, paid both ways to go to Queens. Free glass of wine, tripping for 25 hours, 26 minutes to home, when I could have walked. Would have liked the view, and drunk coming down 2nd Avenue through Midtown, trying to save my legs for the weekend. Almost no one applauded. Have to work tomorrow, why do I give a shit? Guess how you guess. Want my money back. Would have got home at 2 a.m., 4 more days, and the home poetry tour. Have to figure out what I'm reading, living in College Point. Gave 0 books away. How you mourning your morning. Couldn't pay for the train, guest host next month, while he's on residency in Finland. The subway is sightseeing too. Sets you there faster, location scouting. Get bit by magenta. I learned from how to do it myself, studied botany in Edinburgh. They invented the modern library system. Working yourself to death, unicorn autocorrect made it a pony. Have you ever rented a room? Bambi Kino fatigue train? These stations are different from what I'm used to. Generative catharsis, so few days, 114 I did the calculations. Sounds like a lot, but it's not.
Left. I although you did live quietly. The bouquet I bought for you was turned into a wreath. Your death was a shock, perhaps less so than your writing, about your aged neck, your lifelong fighting for a spot in the world run by men, your love affair with New York, and your husband's with another woman. Remember when you said that you came back to him to show how much you care?
On anything they could find. A paper mache graffiti without regard for you. Your deep brown eyes plead me from a coffee mug, a t-shirt, a puzzle, a magnet, a notebook, a postcard.
He's super weird to his underwear. Float an off version of himself, Orange Destination away, in New York City, far a finance show, start wearing fiduciary robes. Nothing in my life has ever made more sense than me in this apartment. 2 stops left, Batman's in Guantanamo. All airline pilots tell me I look young for my age. Banish the shuttlecock of entitlement. The music is good here. Semper Jode. 9-9. String of pearls crossing town to go to work. Collective oyster. Island transformation. We have our pigment cards in here. Usually streets named Pearl are interesting. Weekend supplies. Use of lifting coming to a head. 9/11 field day. The night doesn't exist in Manhattan. I ran out of trash bags today. I thought the box would last forever. Let's hope it's a mild winter. Lyrical guitarist Ben Gazzara as Hank Chinaski, stylin' and profilin' by and by, throwing knives into a tree. They sacrificed the towers on the altar of the new millennium. As prophesied by Bobby in Love and Theft, it ain't always easy kicking somebody out. "9/12, Dirty Cop." And now from a message from our friends at 7-Eleven. Is it time for lunch? Making a set list for tonight. Your empty market is telling you you have no friend. The fire hidden in the ashes. A grainy rain. My parents had their wedding reception at the Red Door Tavern. Bought me an engagement ring. New York happens. Fancy seeing you here. 9/13 Dream Home. Out into the womb of the world, breaking even. Dee Dee Champagne was Taylor Made's date at the Bowery Poetry Club 2004. 9/14 Friends Are the Enemy. Movies are great to write down if you watch them. 9/14 Bathroom Code. Ordering rain 3 times easy. Eating Wendy's. There goes Glenn Close. I'd like to win a Tony. Combining layers. Carrying cameras. Faking American accents. Feels like the beginning of summer, though it's really the end. My brain got one of those church surfboards. I don't answer in the guessing game. Add a regular party to your day. Cara Mia, iPhone cloudy, Agua Sup, Stupping Danino's 3 times ready, Berlin donor, more perk recipe Jean's, Sunshine Loves You, credit where credit's due. People used to look in my eyes and think my pupils were huge. I could coast on that for hours. The older ones you need to court leaps to mind. Fired that guitar player mid-song. White stretch limo, she looks like my girlfriend from 10 years ago, who's got 2 kids now, lives in Gainesville, married to a 6.5-foot tall guy. The wind cries Mary. Oversized button-up bowling style. Fashion statements. Could go on at 1 a.m., don't want to pay $5 cover. The best included, oh no, not Wonderwall. I like going on last, closing out the night. Feels an honorary position of some sort. Today is going to be the day. Missed 2 calls. My mom hearted my story. I feel bad about what I said in my last video. Or a subtextual layer was her birthday. Plucking guitars, strum. Take the scene and know what to do with it. Things are meaner now. We hope you like it. Singer of Last Waltz, carving boy, not a fan, one like. Sitting for free. Something's coming through, day gone by. John Mayer sound alike.
Cafe or no cafe? They only have Tetley tea. And why English breakfast tea? You are an American.
Workers warming down canals. Shall we sing huzzahs for them? We shall, too. Speaking Polish, round of older man and woman close metal storefront.
Uncomfortably close. I can smell that acrid chemical smoke they exhale, somewhere between Clorox bleach and stale ammonia, or maybe that's just the scent of his girl's poor vaginal hygiene.
Oh, I wish I could sing. Vibes Grill, it wasn't going to go away on its own. Action Kid sighting at McDougal and Bleecker. YouTubers are moving back to New York. I'm sorry I missed your call. Greg emceed the Andrei Krodescu launch reading and did a great job in palatial Bowery poetry. Repeat the steering wheel through a chair. I feel like driving through Pennsylvania right about now. Nothing to lose, lost track of time. Rolling stop, how sweet it is. Sub-munching notebook. Can you help me buy a beer from the store? A People's History of the United States, cherries falling off the plate. Bottom right through Sunshine, Carmine Street, Bluestone Lane. Unoppressive non-imperialist books went out of business. $1.50 cheese pizza slice, 7th Avenue South. The west side is the best side. I went on a date here once, first time losing out to an older artist. Internet money opportunity. The streets talk to me, 17 St. Luke's Place, Hudson Grace. $1 Million Bash, all cobbled together, Pinot or Chardonnay, Vision in a jug. Division t-shirt, not throwing in your vein, shit-ass Murray kettle, 1,000 clowns taught him how to do it. Thursday night, the village is alive. As a courtesy to the artist, attaching nothing but these tenuous events, the importance of ash in a periwinkle shipping container. $9.15. Instances of spaciousness. Manhattan in the rain. What's the sound of water? Doesn't do any good. Keep cheese paws up into the clouds where they shot Hi Mom. You never know what part is going to touch what other part. Orphic grotto marble. We'll work to get a solution everybody likes. There's a lot of moving parts, vain and casual blows. Mind your own business. 4 spurts like I wrote in 2007. Finding out what you can just do it. Drawing beauty, storytelling interiors. Peloton, Schnipper's treat. Halfway to the dawn. Take nothing for granted. How could I be any more full of appreciation for every moment, while knowing it's going or not? Shutter discount store, not feeling sad or unsure, shuffling and scuffling, getting myself to work on time. Harry's house has surprisingly bad fashion sense, up 9th Avenue, back down 8th. Hung flyers in places no one goes. Felt more comfortable there. How they learn with us, not purporting to be experts, a Camelot behind the tale, in an old familiar now. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe I shouldn't have sent that overly personal message at 1 a.m. She hasn't responded, though 10 people liked my announcement in the comedy Facebook group. David Amram is a character in the play about the founding of the Public Theater in Joseph Papp by Richard Nelson. New York enjoys breaking. I stop in the drama bookshop on the way home. Okay, now I'm ready to begin, to go back to the beginning and start over, doing laundry in the bathtub. The clothes smell mildewy, drawing in the bathroom for days, confirming its own bias, nervous to write my lines, my bliss inches, Godard died. Do we yet realize this? Where do we go from here? The park from the song seemed wide, sparsely populated with bridges. Lying in state, the funeral coach rolls embarrassingly through my 35mm projector. Still working with a motive, drinking from tall wine glasses, working between genres, falling through the cracks, revealing it all, which should have been thought through, staying home with no footage of the originating incident, showing up in the paintings. Summer's already over and it feels like it. Didn't even happen. We went online and it never ended. It's been 2.5 years. The 20th century is dying 20 years later. Scared every second for the phone call, stood the test of time, saying very little and nothing more, talking in parks, sunbasking, earthing, bathing in the windy light. It was as good as it actually was. We are alive and separate from animals only in our ignorance, taking classes, hanging flyers, walking to support friends' events in the Bowery Poetry Club or a rooftop in Brooklyn, projecting awkwardly to embarrass one's peers and colleagues. Is anybody going to come to this? Holding off on weed till afterwards. Drugs ruin my efforts while making them possible. Work tomorrow, couldn't answer the emails, cost extra.
Will create someday. Once born, they will die. Once born, they will work until they die. Thank you.
Yeah.
This one is called Queen Victoria. My lavender Sagittarius, surprisingly small like the Mona Lisa, but you wouldn't know. You're such a vibe, XL lips, king-sized eyes, my instant crush, a perfect segue into the new abnormal. Look at the date. The Mets won that night, and I don't follow sports, and trans is trending in America. Mix my mortal enemies inside my guts. I feel the darkest sadness, the coldest warmth I have ever felt. I take a sip of icy domestic penny whip, then she approaches me and backs away. Sometimes I feel like I'm in a Scorsese film. Cream cheese, plaster of Paris bagels, etc. I'm alone and I'm wet and I watch her hands speak. I wish you would look over.
Chest rapidly rose and sunk with anguish, his bloody handprints trailing across the floor, and he sputtered, "As you can see, I'm not doing too good." We sat cross-legged on the cold tile, and he played Cry Me a River on repeat on my phone, sobbing into the sink and into the puddles, while we watched the saline solution mix with the swells of vermilion on the bathroom floor. I wish I could pray, but I don't know how.
Drugs ruin my efforts while making them possible. Work tomorrow, couldn't answer the emails, cost extra. The church used to be darker. A sinister action infused its rooms in light. Not many get the invitation. Who knows what it means anymore? That you have enough friends to afford it. I do things that make me nervous at least 4 or 5 days a week, sometimes more than once, maybe more. Moved away from home at 25, have been back intermittently over the years. Have gotten none of my podcasts or other entertainment ventures to catch with the mass audience. Superstar artist millionaires are a thing of the past. I hate my face, I hate my voice. Blocked internationally for copyright in the year of our Lord, 2022. The New Yorker magazine stole all my ideas. I have to write stuff to go with what I saw because I didn't take time to mark it down in code. Must have been busy doing something else, but what? Listening to the 19th century, seeing the third eye of Pinochet, September 11th, 1973, another CIA-backed coup. We'll see how long it lasts, like visiting the dentist, dread every interaction. That's what I feel in the pit of the well. Bluegrass cover of Gin and Juice. Let's just get it over with. The phone's not ringing. I get a text from an unknown number, freestyling about John Lovitz after the reading with Tony visiting Mean Streets, Johnny Boy and the Lord's Prayer where I used to work. We immortalize each other with great cinematography. That was only the beginning. auditioning for some short films along the clock tower, the gargoyle squats, paying for more time, Skyline Crystal Spires 70s sci-fi novel cover, doing 50 weeks of clubs. Today was a vacation, barefoot in the park, absorbing sun and air, 2 loops, Waverly and Bedford, the underroads. Am I remembering those days? A day off, crossing Union Square, not performing, writing my scripts, Lucille Lortel Theater, graduating with honors, Squat Bottle Grove Press Academy, Flyer outside New School for Drama. Manhattan is a battleship, strategic flivver fallaway into sunset, aquatic helipads, looting Samuels, heart bumps getting back on my feet, in the attic apartment at KGB. We're from the same town, not getting enough conversation, parts 5 of 7 parts. Russia's lost a lot of soldiers, the meat of Solo. I'd like to eat in restaurants this year, filming nothing at work, the crusts on a mission from God, displaying the painting with dignity to the audience, ferries and boats across the water, feeling nothing, trying to U-haul the past, leaving guitars feeding back. I think it's his best work, an embodiment of the Geist, art studios in the old barracks, across the echoing green, brothel puppets bring their own tablecloths, zebras have hard kombucha and say hello, lunch bags strewn on the ground, prince of the city, to be young and in Manhattan, Ulysses and Dead Rabbit, where Anna got her career, and fucked an Irish surfer, teasing the Barbie, staging the designated mourner, office chairs and snacks, capturing their interest, Boulevard of Broken Dreams poster, living in the city to great advantage, keep today out of it, only watching the past, gunmetal rain and twin bat signals, phantom illumination, premiering my movie on the Brown Derby over Beatrice Inn, cobbled brick street, my legs hurt, like I'm walking through Paris, Citizens Green, all these buildings are not tall enough and lack elevators, versus what came after, Buster Keaton collar in that Irish Spring room, would my DVD fill the black screen, a reaction to the boredom, the Jim Carrey of poetry, finding myself in an ATM mirror, in a long table in a long hall. The bartender wanted to kick my ass because I told him to shut the fuck up. That one is Madison Square Garden Network, Shots of Rain, Gentle Machine, Guns of Life, the 1% of Noid video game, Naked Seeing in Giant's Garden. We have our reasons. Bought his own townhouse with TV commercials, last of a dying breed. Did you eat a cruising for Swan? Yes, it changed my life as the flowers died all around, making collages from magazines. This, the vision board of Men Love Avenue, leaving out the best parts, costing 3 months in the bike lane as they rumbled down Manhattan Hills, 9th Ave, a chest of dishes crashing, Italian restaurants, noodle pulling, steakhouses, not necessarily in that order, an escort of publicity in a rainbow of avoidant light. Jules Pfeiffer caption scenes, how we see versus proscenium lensing, making bigger choices, pushing one's limits, finding troves beyond an inspection. Patti Smith owns the building. See her every night on McDougal, have to pretend we don't vaguely know who the other is. Closed metal listening, I fit in Midtown, the apartment striding, 20s, 30s, 40s, Robert Moses double-breasted, humans easily sift, actual sized against gentle giants, taxes, vapes, finding sundown by a truck yard, ragtime ambassador, bringing the good word on foot while filming birds throwing themselves at the moon in blue. Taste is formed in youth, then thrown away on the junk pile like toys you outgrow. Are our entertainers and celebrities, thoughts running through our days and cities, sitting for free. New video surveillance entry camera doesn't recognize my face, access denied. It's funny how money and job has not been part of the rebuilding, one piece at a time. I have to think about things. I have to take time or it won't work, I tell her, explaining why the delay and inscribing the chapbook personally from me to her. I wanted it to be good.
Their own, forming the Thursday Morning Poets. Woo! The weekly meetings are facilitated by a different. Introduce our next group of poets from Easy Paradise, some of my favorites. Easy Paradise is an experimental poetry magazine published out of Manhattan. It looks to build meaningful community with writers outside of traditional academic or institutional structures by hosting readings in inclusive and unusual performance spaces, such as public parks or fast food restaurants, and by welcoming.
Wrote 7-part poem called Oracular Transcendentalism. I'm going to read part 5 of 7 parts. The Transcendentalism relates, of course, to Emerson. However, Melville, Thoreau, a number of Hawthorne, Margaret Fuller are in the 7-part work. Part 5, when does the past become past? Genuine wisdom transcends the limited down the stairwell, fall into a chaotic assault, bullets, cannons, a necklace of platinum and blood diamonds, the war machine activated, the arsenal equipped for total destruction of eyeglasses, formation of bomb clouds, mega bombers hum, Mariupol shattered, decibels shatter eardrums, eyes, ears, nose, throats congested with And speaking of Her Majesty, the head of state lies in state, and this is the Platinum Jubilee year. This is a very new poem. The lineage. Ireland, the first to leave the empire. William Butler Yeats served as senator in that Irish Free State. The power of dismissal exercised this year, the centenary of the state of Southern Ireland, centenary of Ulysses, that epistle to the Hibernian metropolis. In this, the year of our Lord, 2022, the Platinum Jubilee year, the year Queen Elizabeth died, the end of another Elizabethan era. From Arthur's Seat in Edinburgh, from that height, gaze on Holyrood, where she will lie in state in the Caledonian metropolis in Scotland. This Her Royal Highness.
Let's have another round of applause for Annabelle Lee, everybody. That was phenomenal, thank you. That was very special. Once again, see us at our booth, Easy Paradise. We've got chapbooks, we've got Perfect Bound books, we'll have Lunar Module, we'll have Vehicle, we'll have Rodcore, we'll have Easy Paradise. So Yvonne Labien is still on the ferry. I'm going to read a few pieces from my diary. This is from August 31st. I print a Cosmopolitan micro diary. It's a series. It's sort of a serial chapbook series that's like a reality show. It's little moments of my life, and I've been doing it since 2017. So come check it out. It's like a comic book.
They're really great.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so this is Yankee Rose. Last night I enrolled in clown school. Happiness master class. Found my light. The youth shall inherit the earth. They're friends of mine. The youth shall inherit the earth. They're friends of mine. Come sage my house. Juggling microphones, treating objects like mermen. Sponsored by Jack Daniels. Easy Paradise is sponsored by Jack Daniels. Weekday brunch class, have to hit 88 miles per hour before I hit the wall. Blast in the future, animated film where every frame is an actual painting. Oil on canvas, photograph 24 frames per second. Rage, fucking all these timeshares, sit back and relax. I should have gotten in the shower with you. See Jay at red light at Bleecker and Hudson riding her bike. We have a brief conversation and she's off into the night. Dreams come true, I come in too. Peter Parker and Mary Jane with Alfred Molina as Dr. Octopus. He blocked my web shooting with microphone feedback. She tells me I seem familiar. I have to stay in the game. I'm so close and good to the last drop. So you can see the serial numbers are identical. Family rivalries pass by, springing in on him last minute like a first kiss. Troubadour George Strait. I got my MFA from the streets of New York. I got my MFA from the streets of New York, the streets of Boston, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Paris, New Orleans, Austin, Nashville, Cleveland, reading my poetry in bars, open mic nights, 2 features and a sign-up sheet on your right, 2 poems in 3 minutes, 1 poem, 2 minutes, 2 songs, $5 for 5 minutes, 3 songs for 12 minutes, buy an item from the bar. Buy an item from the bar, waiting, having to listen to every unknown poet in the United States and abroad. Beautiful, other languages, mimes. My favorite reading was 2 indigenous poets visiting from Michigan. It was a rainy night. Very few people showed up. They brought the rain down in silence and walked off, reminding me of my father in their t-shirts and blazers, hip guy attire, getting to know all the poets of the world, because that is the most interesting. And why was I not consulted? She's getting emails from Ann Carson. They're friends. She's friends with Ann Carson. I jacked off into a tissue. No more, Butchie. Need to make things hard to seem like I'm doing something. Looking back in the cracks of the ebb tide going out hit different. Don't look down. You might see you're standing on a cloud. So this is from my newest chapbook, Bloom's Day. It's a New York City novel. Strand pleasing, 6'8". Practicing nunchucks, a bottle under the table. Kate McKinnon kisses her girlfriend under the trees on the green of Tompkins Square Park, immediately to my left. Based God, the gig calls to apply pressure as they've pre-sold 0 tickets for Friday at $15 a piece. I say make it free and get some people in there drinking and having a good time. It's 11:30 in the morning, September 10th, 2022. The steak is like corned beef, it's delicious. Johnny Thunders, no one's watching, 82 degrees, hot sun, cool breeze. I just got done putting out 100 fires, plunging, see you next Tuesday, get a bucket and a mop for that fair play for Cuba off-topic response. Jesse Plemons, Tony Randall, Hugh Jackman, Remy Auberginois. I've got to be at work soon, 6:26 p.m. Profoundly interested in realism, then so was everybody else. Like a tsunami coming to support your boogie board. There's only been 3 or 4 experiences in my life. Joe Franklin never went to a beach. Non-present presence. Did stand-up comedy. I'm going to skip ahead. I read this poem the other day. I'm bored with it. That's poetic license. I'm taking my poetic license. I really want to read this piece. Thank you. Anything can happen in Easy Paradise. I might make a social media post right now. I always bomb at New York Poetry Festival. It's fine. I love coming out. I love talking and meeting every anonymous poet in the United States. So I'm going to read my poem, Mouth Beach, which is about Washington Square Park, where I spend basically, it's like my TV. I go to Washington Square Park and I just, thank you. Thank you. That's going to be perfect. Okay. It's going on my Snapchat. Okay, July 1st, Mouth Beach. Zaire steak recluse season. Weekend warrior, you can't regret everything you don't try. I regret not going to the open mic. The tire of my scooter popped. and I overnapped. They only announced the show an hour beforehand, and I was out last night till 3 a.m. All day I finished 3 episodes and thought about my novel of New York, which I guess I unconsciously gleaned from the New York Times. Watch closely, use responsibly, use responsibly, use responsibly, watch closely. A year ago today, I should have started this early, meeting Christoph Pons, live Notion. She recognized me, go home half a mile, showing up at parties. There's only one way to find out, getting injured. No sense in getting mad. They go to Trader Joe's. I've had a different clerk every single time I've ever checked out. There was no reason to miss that blown opportunity. Life, you bat about 217 if you're lucky. Slowly but definitively, I'm allowed to change results. Section 8 housed me. Section 8 housed me. If talking to strangers is real-life poetry, last night was an important reading and composition with Christoph Pons on McDougal, meeting Freak Parade songwriters. It's Google if you tried it. Mega let go, let drift the cluster voice of worry. It's how I make a story. Can't take every branch of the river, can't take every fork in the road. Stepping all over my vocal, bloomin' onion and sour grapes. I always record Checker Taxi, Sonic Midtown Bus. 3 ladies, black-skirted, many take a table by the edge of the patio at Bar PT. She lit a joint, earbuds in, orange neon liquor sign, the details pushing through. Holiday weekend bookended by disappeared performances and meeting people. Stopgap hitchhiking. Everything I do is a big poetry reading. I've been watching the Jerry Lewis telethon nonstop. That's my problem. Meeting people, everything I do is a big poetry reading. This is poetry reading. Music is theater is poetry reading. Filming poetry reading. Whatever I shoot. Reminding people to apple bank retract. Bike Dewdrop strawberries. Enough mugwort vamp for that Art Garfunkel yellow and green soccer jersey and shorts. Lame like Fleet Davis, app quotidian bringing Tomatosaurus shrink-wrap ferns and crabgrat cuss triangle into the concrete sitting plaza. Sleeping on benches of ease on 6th Avenue, bonfire of the vanities, Soho patios, exit in all night, I'll see you later. My picks would be Inferno and Cleaning Up New York, Andy Warhol's novel A, Lena Hornick's memoir, The Green Fuse, more to come as I think of them. E-commerce and in-person sanctions, taking his guitar and storming off. Will I see you tonight on a downtown train? Straight figurative preparatory bombing yellow moped shack in Bolinas, shipping your 5,000 books. Easiest $5 murmur. Have access to what I did last summer. Simply be looking, seeing what you're seeing, acknowledging seeing and hearing. Kind of put a boost on my head, unadulterated experience. We punched the wall to gain access. All the things I haven't done I couldn't pay for. I still did a lot. Tenant ending argument after 6-day tired apartment. The bolts are moving, 6 a.m. All the shutters. Fire Marshal Bill, upstart Chewbacca, rip snorting Jardnar, shut in, outfouting Hausman. Should have followed me into the marriage compartment. Parish Heritage Dippin' Dots, space ice cream. Are we absorbed before Modesto radio? I'm taking my axe to it. Walk around giant penis ace of base. Don't grow your dick out hacking at it, jamming culture signal. Rambo cosplay, Baudelaire Comic-Con. I do real drugs, like Christoph Pons. Z-list, but I'm on the list. Bought 2 couches. Could go for a beer right about now. My poetry is worth doing. Screamo, Purdue iCart. Tables being cleared for the night. Bar PT, 10 Downing, Da Silvano. Not what they used to be. Power players, Charlie Rose or Graydon Carter. Yoko Ono having dinner in the pages of Vanity Fair. Just sold it to some developers. Fuck out of here. Come see us. In Easy Paradise, we'll have a table. Selling DVDs, CDs. Thank you, Meredith. Thank you, New York Poetry Festival.
Woo! All right, let's hear it one more time for Easy Paradise. From Matt Proctor, Annabelle Lee, incredible. They've got another reader who's on the ferry who's going to be reading in a bit. I'm Meredith Starkman. I'm your host at the Brinkley this morning. I'm so excited to be here. Happy New York Poetry Festival. I'm very excited next up to introduce the Italian American Writers Association. The Italian American Writers Association.
Thank you for Matt, he's right there, for having me. The Easy Paradise table is literally right behind us. And also, I run a small press with my partner called Gender Fail, so check that out too. I have a short time, so I'm just going to read one poem about a very light subject, attempted suicides. Woo! Silent winds, thou who ask of me thine essence in mental gash. The blackness felt comfortable, a velvet cord, lingerie at the doom parade. Forgetfulness. I wish that my own death would be that less infinite, as in to come back and be conscious of you again, as life is really defined by what is lacking. Press, flush, howler, hell, what it is we must say. Will, then, is that emptiness in the universal emotion, a striving to attain remnants of mild temporal nous, endingly white sentient scorn, my spiritual gall. I have erased my own love from this one. Deny. I have shown to myself and no one else what is the self, what is permitted to be suicidal, never argumentary, that I have let it become me and enter this pulse word and world, that after I finish this sentence, I will never speak again. No, I'm just playing. Though I indeed have that deep desire to come undone myself, but is this my desire or my rapist's, my father's, to be silent in a hole, a preening, till I've abandoned all hope of hope, and for the first time feel free. There is no porn of me here, and there are so many things to unlearn. We are
Creates books that inspire and provoke, authors with passion and ideas, readers who enjoy literature straight from the heart. Ragged Sky is more than
did it.
a
That was awesome. That was great. I love that.
Painting number 2. And painting number 3. So I'll do a little poem and a little vocalese. I put my ear against the wall, listening in as the darkest hour reaches just before dawn. I could almost feel the hospitality of my muscles, a morphine high, working together, causing movement. I've learned to feel nothing, but feel something. Show for you. This Monday night we have Bonnie Finberg, Hugo Atamo, and Matt Proctor. 6:30 p.m. plus open mic. Show off what you got. Music, poetry, art, it's all there. You're gonna have a fantastic time. And next up is Julie Benson.
There's a building on the Lower East Side. What building is it? Regina didn't even know yet. She's invited, she has to speak. What building would it be? William Burroughs and Allington both.
Where was it?
I don't know. Lower East Side.
Right. Okay.
In the bunker?
Right.
She said she doesn't think it's a bunker. I mean, Virginia used to go to the bunker.
Right. Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Maybe that's it.
Right, yeah.
7th Street.
Uh-huh.
So it's being landmarked.
Really?
Yeah.
That's...
So it's top secret right now, but you know.
She is the executive director of Just Media, a media literacy initiative with a focus on the legal system, and is informed by her career as a writer, organizer, and educator. She's received fellowships from the Poets House, Mellon Research, and Mellon. She is the author.
In 76, Cuban exiles mobbed a Cuban plane. 73 people gone.
Silence again. Same old new types of silence. I will the mother they want to take over my body. I want the way it was for white people to keep being the way it is. But now there are as many ways it is as there are splinters in the plywood floor. There are now splinter groups.
For some goddamn reason, the ladder keeps me going, just knowing something about nothing that anybody would ever fucking care about. When my friends roll their eyes at me, making jokes about my infertility and bad dating habits, it feels like a hug, a nod, an acknowledgement that they know the truth, so they all show up in different ways. The
Dungeness cluster, a doppelganger from mayhem stalking you down the aisles. My cholesterol was low the years I panhandled at the junction, singing the fuck out of Mahalia for dimes. Now and then scotch, taped dollar bills. I miss holiday gift bags for the homeless. Soaps freckled with real gold, deodorant cocktails of vodka and myrrh. My pits stayed hung over, nights I swayed tipsy among the girls like the last living pantsy, free as the free air at a bike shop. All I ever craved was a vagrant to love, a dumpster fire to lean into, wrapped in a tapestry of Mustangs that fall upon us one by one as we sleep.
Just sleep here, man. Let's just stay here. I don't need to go back. Let's stay overnight. It's a nice day. I hope it doesn't rain tomorrow. Stabbing each other in the back amongst the waves, proteges and the seeds of all these different readings. A gallery of performances convenes on my satellite and on my cabaret on Monday, complete with honorarium, 12:22 p.m. New York buildings look like a crowd huddled waiting to get into itself or smoking outside its own function. (9:16) owner-operator. Waiting for work, I had that same shirt. Orpheum stomp. Everyone feels gone. Taught to write by Cafe Pick-Me-Up. New memories you can't live in while they happen, even though you do. It's only later you can hold the thing up in your mind. Time's trickling away fast as water evaporates. Carpe Tea, Sly Fox, Lis Makida. I pinned my flyer to the wall. Rat posters still up Mercer Street, 2nd Avenue 2 times. I text Hannah pics. Treat Williams rehearsing 2 weeks with Sidney Lumet, Ukrainian national home, scion of the Yiddish Rialto. Vermont Airplane Garage, Jefferson Market Library, going up in the tower. Tomorrow I'm doing acid no matter what. Show starts Monday. Get ready to have a good time. Hanging flyers 4 p.m. to present. Ran out, probably put too many in Soho. San Gennaro Festival, attracting a lot of foot traffic. Targeted audience. Different articles show Richard Hell in his apartment over time. A picture of Biggie and his mom. Students living in the East Village paid for by their parents. In the community of humanity, his book matches his shirt, matches his hair, pink and black. At least I can walk farther uninterrupted days than anybody over 10 years in anonymity, afforded by earning nothing, fucking the boss 'cause you're late to work. My Chemical Romance is on tour. Ghosted the series after I featured The Waiter Brings It to You, which is so nice. Getting complimented after readings gives you confidence to write, as energy transference at the Pantages is all it is. No one was very impressed. Are you sure I'm in the right grid? Could live here forever. The light above my closet, adjacent changing/green room. It happened so easily, it seemed certain something even better was next. Leaving a certified classic off each album, she announces her death through Facebook. The diagnosis is terminal, which is crazy because I just met her. Irving Plaza, operations manager. The super knows which apartment in the building is nicest. Eating at Lucien. This was the first actually chic fashion week in years. It's important to get out of the country once in a while to connect with different markets. Babysitting the microphones outside the locked gates to the church, rolling 8 deep, dropping the charges, drinking on the job, an accordion bus rolling by, Emma Lazarus taking a piss on the Lindley and Vernon Writer's house, ye old Waverly Inn I stopped by for a nightcap, last Friday of summer, perfect weather, tons of people are out, my legs hurt, 2 fingers hold it back, you have to gag on it, girl telling other girl how to vomit into the tree bed. Over 400,000 millionaires in New York City. Construct a new stage and be on it too. Okay, how about Monday night? (917) Hard blocks. In the chasms of Manhattan, underground rivers running afoul, I've put offers on penthouses sitting near you. What's topical is abstract. Rupert Murdoch's apartment, vast, Thomas scale, a rail comp. It must be personal, it must change. Doing acid at Trader Joe's, I become aware of a moving stock of naive plants. Being from New Jersey gave us something to talk about. I was from Ohio. Masquerade costumes stride Madison Square on their way to Matchbox Burning Man. Paper cardboard, plastic metal. She's a 10, but she's got earbuds in. Sony logo over the doorway. Why can't it be both? A symbol and personal. The personal is symbolic, so why not? To everybody. Just want to see the look on his face. Clown shoes tapping. Need a new author photo. Submitting to the New Yorker. Semi-jazz dad. I think we should have a baby. Please respect these monuments to thought. Want to party tonight, also want to stay home. Voiceover not matching the footage. Pretending to look aloof while the camera snaps pictures. Billfold nuptiary. The userverse goes somewhere. We overwalked 5 blocks under the red sky. One day came too soon. At the beginning of water, Andrew W.K. lives up high like Michaeline above the Roseland Ballroom. A moment in time, 2009, meeting her in Panera, making her laugh till she cried. Oceans of day, risable above, lines on paper doing 3 things at once. Bravo, thinking company, characteristics of the birds, dancing magnolia studs. I want to write biographies of the animals. Writing the biographies of animals. Writing the biographies of animals. I read your whole book. I like talking about my day. She didn't invite me to the ceremony, that's understandable. A tapestry of filmmakers, loser, stoner, family tradition, memes excusing one's vices, all the tired horses. I go walking down the street, videoing cafes, HB playwrights, good dialogue I pick up in snatches, finger on the pulse of the culture, more derived from talking to friends and peers. Rye Dunn gives me a hug. I pour mud, coffee, water. Jacob Moses gives me 2 hugs. He has the same name as my friend who I haven't seen in 5 years. A day of reckoning is coming. Band breakups can do permanent damage. They were a writer, that is, they wrote. imitating Piss Factory, the poets reading journals over bands, Lenny Kaye on podcasts talking about lightning striking, and Nuggets, which was an New York school poetry to me in my 20s. On box set, my punk rock was garage bands from the 60s. There's too much on my mind, drinking a beer or 6 after work. The reception ran out of wine. Kay Gabriel was a captivating anchor, commanding the room with training and projection, ravishing in floor-length black dress. Sunview Luncheonette, Kamikaze Jones, Dolly Presley, Precious Memories. A bureaucracy of emails, could be phone calls or an app where you implicitly exchange voice memos. I tell the other Matt in the dark on 12th Street in front of New School dorm. He's disappointed in everything. He's 21 years old. I don't know what he wants out of life. Half of Joker Man followed me back. I liked his poem and would request one for the magazine. Show up for the open mic on Monday, a sensation in disguise. Showing these things are not as disparate as they seem. Preparing my readings for the week. Open mic debut Monday. Work Simone book launch Wednesday. Rooftop summer goodbye party Friday with the Dark Doves and the regulars. Lugging drums up 2 flights of stairs. Should be no problem picking up a bill on McDougal Street. Next time ask Jaws. There's too much to ingest. I absolutely love and appreciate every second of my life. In the pale moonlight, things blend. I absolutely love and appreciate every second of my life.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much to everybody who contributed. Without further ado, I am going to announce our first feature tonight. Matt Proctor is a poet and performer, currently living in Manhattan. He's the editor of Easy Paradise, and his poems have appeared in Peach, Ariadne, Wedgie, and elsewhere. His poetry reality show, Scenes from My Life, was a recipient of the 2018 First Amendment Award from Brick and airs Mondays at 11 p.m. on Manhattan Neighborhood Network. You can follow him on Instagram at Comfort Okay, well, you know what? You can see him afterward. I'm sure you're going to be really happy with his performance. Welcome, Matt Proctor.
I've got books for sale here for my rockcore edition. So I do a running serial micro diary series for my rockcore. They're almost like comic books. They're like little chat books, and so it's my diaries over time. And so I have a whole collection over here. And I also have these kind of longer books. LA Story, this is sort of like a novelization. I have a poetry reality show that airs every Monday on Manhattan Neighborhood Network, public access television. And it's sort of like a visual poem. It's like my consciousness on TV. It's first person, and I write these diary poems, and they're sort of like internal monologues. So the books are kind of companions, thank you. The books are kind of companions to the series. I'm going to read one of my recent sort of internal monologues. This is for Jennifer Janot. Thank you for having me. I'm so honored to be here. 8:31, Yankee Rose. Last night I enrolled in clown school. Happiness masterclass. Found my light. The youth shall inherit the earth. They're friends of mine. Come sage my house. Juggling microphones, treating objects like mermen. Sponsored by Jack Daniels. This reading is sponsored by Jack Daniels. Weekday brunch class. Have to hit 88 miles per hour before I hit the wall. Blast into the future. Animated film where every frame is an actual painting. Oil on canvas, photograph 24 works per second. Rage fucking all these time chairs. Sit back and relax. I should have gotten in the shower with you. See Jennifer Janot, red light at Bleecker and Hudson, riding her bike. We have a brief, nice conversation, and she's off at the green light. That's a true story. Out front of Gourmet Garage. Dreams come true. I come in too. Peter Parker and Mary Jane with Alfred Molina as Doc Ock. He blocked my web shooting with microphone feedback, and she tells me I seem familiar. I have to stay in the game. I'm so close and good to the last drop. So you can see the serial numbers are identical. Friendly rivalries passing by, springing on him at the last minute like a first kiss. Troubadour, George Strait. I got my MFA from the streets of New York, the streets of Boston, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Paris, New Orleans, Austin, Nashville, Cleveland, reading my poetry in bars, open mic nights, 2 features and a sign-up sheet on your right, 2 poems are 3 minutes, 1 poem 2 minutes, 2 songs $5, 5 minutes, 3 songs or 12 minutes. Buy an item from the bar. Turn off the fucking music in the bar. Matt Proctor's reading Cosmopolitan Micro Diaries.
Yes.
Thank you. We love it. Thank you. Thank you. Wait, everything's good. It's all good. I can read with the music. I love the Strokes. I'm a musician. I want to have a great time. I want everybody to have a great time. I don't want to yell or freak anybody out. Waiting, having to listen to every unknown poet anonymous in the United States and abroad, other languages, mimes, guitars. My favorite reading was 2 indigenous poets visiting from Michigan. It was a rainy night. Very few people showed up. They brought the rain down in silence and walked off, reminding me of my father in their t-shirts and blazer, hip guy attire, getting to know all the poets of the world, because that is the most interesting. And why was I not consulted? She's getting emails from Ann Carson. She's friends with Ann Carson. I jacked off into a tissue. No more, Butchie. And I want to say, that's a line from The Sopranos. The thing about I jacked off into a tissue, that's what Phil Leotardo says about how he's been in jail. He's been in jail, he's been eating mozzarella from the radiator, and he's been jacking off into a tissue. No more, Butchie. Need to make things hard, to seem like I'm doing something. Looking backs in the cracks of the ebb tide going out hits different. Don't look down, you might see you're standing on a cloud. So now, thank you. We're going to go back in time. So that was like a more recent piece. This is a piece that I wrote in 2013, I think, called War and Peace. What street? Let's rev it up, baby. Let's waste and break. Let's die till we die. Beauty never speaks, only metabolisms. Red ears soloed like cups. The lady sat on her leg proffering sword. I nexted it, wanting instead to repurpose the bright decals over my face. The channel where they kept sex. Masses fattened into cotton, coddled, waddling. I request another word, the whisper kernel. Hairline fractured in radiology, my gripes pitch songward. Mom saying she should have brought War and Peace, it's been so long. Fresh stitches, and now I go to Tolstoy's estate each spring when everything's drooling. We barely touched, or maybe it was just me. Had faster access to my parents when the sound blared and they died. People who knew how to forget years of being born and losing it right away. The way the foreign tongue is melodic, things trying to make sense and failing. I have to go now. I have to go back to work. Okay, this is for my highly controversial sex book, which I never read from. It's not even available in this country. You have to get it through my European publishers because it's so obscene. It's been banned. This is called I Sleep in Half. As day rises up my window, I'm a thin half and long with the sun. A carton of Neapolitan ice cream melting into morning, afternoon, night. A line break is almost melodic, like changing chords, then changing back. I listen to a lot of good advice, still don't know how not to lose everything. I like it when it's raining. Spent the last 2 years on drugs and wanted to go further into drugs. It's hard to change without wanting to get revenge. It's hard to change without changing. All these days hanging off of me, I don't know what to do with them. 6:15 approaches gently. I take a cab there, rescheduling the unknown. I don't observe anything but the sound of sound. It's not meaning. I love it when the night opens its mouth to sing lightly its stars, a sequence of curves. Don't you think it's incredible when I hold the night, it's shaped like you? Two more pieces. They're kind of longer pieces. This first one's a few minutes and then the next one. So they're audio podcasts. It's called Work Trip. So this was a trip I took to San Francisco in 2016 before, everything happened. Work Trip. My favorite movie is Any Window, dollying the parallax, the landscape suggesting topics. A reminder of autumn came in from the July Bay today, moody air working its way into the sinuses. I looked at Oakland, could see the there. It was right downtown where it always is. A regular plain stand of popsicle buildings, skyscrapers attaining the minimum height. Nice companion piece to the thin wafer of old Frisco. Tunnel pulled over, smell of pleather and wet hair. Located right next to the emergency exit, my unkempt personality. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't. Which is why I never talk. A salad bar emerges from the parched, retching grass, the tracks pigeon-toeing into the distance. This week I'm in Mountain View. Incredible tufts of cloud like God's thought bubbles. Google Shuttle take us anywhere we want to go. But I forgot I left my nuggets of wisdom back at the hotel. I never know what to say next, which is always the risk when one talks. You just have to try without trying. That's the inconvenient secret to life, and everything else. Is the crossing sign angry? We have a president named Barry. Isn't that enough? The train is yelling and throwing furniture, raging all the livelong day. A cool skull in black fog declares the underpass column legit. San Francisco, Collins hoodie reads. I went to the wrong ecology, with the word improperly, from the east, where elbow pads are wrapped in burlap sacks and the coins have a strong resolve to vanish into the signage. The train stops to load and breathe. The wind points no direction at all. Most heavy machinery seems lazy. Backhoes sitting on their asses collecting a union wage. Hank Chanowski flew here on a private jet for a reading once. I'm watching a doc about it. Let your mouth speak, heavy beauty, he says. Take the stars out back and go blam. America's a great yard. This train has moved far. A straight line poking into the distance, growing wings, climbing the non-refundable ladder to heaven. I witness an exquisite quilt of farms, deep resting grass, quietly sipping the Mississippi. The floods crown and digress. Brown drink tripped its bank and passed out on the bedspread of the plane. Back in New York, it's the hot part of the year. Just under 100, the pilot says, when I get home. When I get home, my room is a time capsule of who I was 3 weeks ago. Thank you again to the Phoenix, Dee Dee and Jennifer for having me. It's really an honor. I've never been asked to do a feature before, so thank you so much. I love this series. It's great. All the poets you read, all the artists, I'm really honored and proud to be a part of this. So this is a recent piece from a chapbook I put together in tribute of Jack Kerouac's 100th birthday. So this will be the last thing I read. Thank you again. Check out my YouTube page. I have DVDs of my poetry reality show if anybody wants to check that out. They're companions to the chapbooks. So sit back and relax. This is Hot and Ready. Silent Street. Let's not and say we did. A pox of city bikes upon us. Cello and gutter moon townhouse, West 4th banks down and to the right. Poor party West 11th in costume, wish I could party with them. Hanging flyers of Jack Kerouac's face from 27th Street Car Wash to Bowery and 3rd. Really like your tattoo, the layering. In my schedule for you, go away. The party at Art Bar I go to every night, sitting on the Lavos bench, a cold wind of moonlight. Jack midway between Bank and Jane. Reappearance well-worn tracks. Sorry experiments, but all this stuff I didn't intend. James calls it my jazz cigarette. I tell him, Navy grade, trying to be gross old guy, which I guess is who I am. Who I bring to the table, Macallan's 12-year, McSorley's dark ale. Maybe I'll stop into McSorley's for a dark. A call for investment in Irving's daybook. 40% Williamsburg, accidental Ginsey stubbing my toe like Stubby K. Getting into some shit, copping drugs in New York. Copping drugs in New York on 42nd Street. Head tennis racket she carries silently like a weapon down West 4th, which used to be called something else. Let me look it up. Arrow Street? Hell with it. I'm here now. It doesn't really go forth, but diagonally up, slicing the progressively numbered parallel undergrid streets, also skewed crossward toward the river like they tipped or fell off the table. Cubbyhole renovation stopped the destruction. Hope they don't ruin it wheeling bricks out in reliable wheelbarrows. Guys from New Jersey confidently demolishing what remaining beauty from F-350, Chevy, Ford, Dodge, Ram. Clay Travis, Brian Kilmeade, the Radio City pirated by fleece-vested investment bankers, finance and tech criminals of all stripes. Should be in stripes. I am in stripes. Hijacking, slashing, cutting, ripping the guts out of old buildings. The reach around kings. Credit debit swap meals. User software dates. Six-pack. This dark, hateful energy startles in a pack of violent white men, abrasive in presence. Domestic violence, bad vibe, or they'll make fun of you just by waiting at the traffic light. Not all attention is good attention, even in an attention economy. Zelda lent her bus on the brown stoop at Side Amphora Tavern on Jane. Stefan's cake shop is looking great. With marble and cursive script in French. My life in installments on the wall facing Hudson. Robux, skip this part. Ask Mamu for a game for $60. Reservations at Food Pod Dorsia. Beware interesting empires. Violin gem chic. Lived here. Raymond Pettibon retweeting my flyer. Praise from Caesar. Greatest flyer artist of all time. Viewed his new museum retrospective 2017. I think it was in memory. I like your eyes of fiction. Goodbye. I like her as a friend. We're going down West Charles. Rest in peace, Scott Hall. Removed from life support after suffering 3 heart attacks by his best friend and fellow founding member of the New World Order, big sexy Kevin Nash. Almost like an episode of Nitro, Click Pack and tag team partner having to say goodbye and put his buddy down. Raymond Pettibon is liking a lot of my tweets. Should I slide into the DMs? I like his pseudo-Elizabethan spelling irregularities and breaching Prince Hal grammar. Fear of not having it out when you enter a conversation. How do we do it so much? Relax, order a splitter for the antenna. The ionic skyscrapers like broadcasting hectic mind signals. Edmund Wilson slept here, Nile Rodgers too. Fuck fast, fascinating bastards of Percy Street. Text me bread and butter of the disgusting outback. It's after my bedtime. Copywriting mailbox. Need to text long back 7 months later. After winter, open city closing again. On the verge of collapse. Fleeing to the sun. Hermaphrodite Antilles watching your every move. You go, girl. Rest in peace, Angel Barbara Mayer. Singing teacher, beloved spirit of Lower East Side. Gathering friends mooring at Pangea this Saturday. A dictionary of saints. Church split in half on 2nd and East 7th. See the sky in place where stained glass no longer hangs. Philip Glass lives a few blocks south. Malcolm Cowley walking his dog. Brooke Shields outside Black Derby waiting generously for her car. Andre Gregory lives on Perry and Kenneth Coates old brownstone. Hart Crane, I have disgraced myself. Lou Reed, I'm coming on. A few appearances early from the early 70s. Cello, violins, sirens, tartine corners, Tiffany awnings, extra virgin, St. Ambrose, headlights and Ubers drastically under-reading houndstooth raincoats. Fall over to tomorrow. Today is the tomorrow we worried about yesterday. I have 2.5 years on you. Wishing Haley Bieber salvos of speedy recovery. Fuck a shelter. All live on the H. Shit posting on Maine. Shadows of Jack the Ripper. True crime podcasting. Restaurants falling an unsuspecting but hungry public. Casting a pall in all social interactions. The moon is a subway token. Students of New School, FIT, NYU, stride up 7th Avenue like they own the place. Shit on their CIA, denying Bohemia its rightful nest. Dockside Row on air messages, drinking in the sun, drinking it in. Having the RNC here in 2004 laid the groundwork, it's almost over, laid the groundwork for Pinks to feel comfortable in urban beauty. 9/11, a big wrecking ball, hauled weird stain upstate, choking on the hymns of the ocean. William Hurt died. Many elders are passing. I fearlessly leap faithful, ignorant of evil in a battle for rims of immortal beauty. Crazy T, it's only summer once, put it on my permanent record, give it to me straight. Finding sauce in Amelia's daughter, completely denying men, entwined drew us into its wine cellar basement. No way could we afford it. Condemning the pandemic, the weather in Florida, easy like that frankly dollar on time. Don't take your French so complicated, Lori Nyro sings. Plumbing and mechanical, I'll be the judge of that. Tracking number, put a QR code on my will to power. Helen Frankenthaler, Jane Freilicher, Emily Quarles, Nicole Quarles. Lords of the Realm. Transactional nature of my approval doesn't come back like a boomerang that stopped working. I'm aiming for dinner and having it twice. Tavern on Jane, Patio Amphora. Ruby went out of business. That sacred tract near Stanley's. She's actually too home in time for Purim. System Lord show for Emily's art closing. Exporting it to the Dickens. People at the subway stop have low seniority. Oh, that's right. Not Arrow. Asylum Street. After the Orphan Asylum Society between Bank and Troy. Now West 12th. Demolished 1833. Shifting armor candles and windows at Beatrice Inn. Les Trois Chevaux. Corner Bistro. Swing by Art Bar. And on home.
Let's give Matt another round of applause. That was amazing.
But pain that is caused by the desire for survival, the sound of waves of words, meaninglessness. 22 francs. Then it was not euro yet, it was francs. Because this writing, I did a lot of kind of like, I inserted the original writing of Japanese letters and stuff, so it's kind of visually interesting.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the last one, fate, passing and crossing, a tiny trip, a line connecting the point of departure and the point of termination. Endlessly comical variations of the way the line winds between 2 points. Thoughtless acts
He'd marked on a map in red marker to document our journey. Behind the wheel of the rented Fiat, he had an epic freak out. He threatened to crash into a tree if I don't know anything. These last years have taught me that. I like what Aristotle said. A man doesn't know his life until he dies. I was 18 when I read it, planted it like a seed. It took over a path.
Like a Hollywood brat. We all know about that. We're trying to stay human and not to do something to ruin.
This is my first star performance. Brian was one of 2 black kids in class, one of my best friends, and this was going to be fun. I got to play the lead, unknowingly drawing on a genetic generation's trauma, as if I knew Stellar Adler or something.
Colored streetlights ignite after-work smokers on stoops. The corner bar casts a blue glow from some game broadcast from somewhere. Across the street, the deli flowers beam red, yellow, and pink little fires. Stampede.
What? I looked at it that it can be very deep.
Right. I absolutely love and appreciate every second of my life. In the pale moonlight, things blend. They blur together all of a piece, increasing with sound, writing great, important songs. Where do you hear them? Say what needs to be said. Take in the easy light of day, 1 million views. Scenius, the genius of the scene, as Eno says. Don Henley is from Texas, outside the sad cafe, looking backwards, or just missing it. I doubt if they give a shit. Probably happy to be rid of me. We're not competing for the same things. The audience won't walk to the 4th floor. We sprayed lightning on the amaretto sours, carried the soil in his throat, the river banks and sandbars, creeks, mires, watersheds. Was really excited to do acid, now I have a toothache. You have to take the rock poet seriously, as writing. More scribes need to move into the oral realm. I'm reading their lyrics as I'm listening, how they move across the breath and page and rhyme. Go long, as we used to say in football. 2-hand tag, me versus Jack, sometimes Patrick, Uncle Billy, all-time quarterback, in Grandma's front yard and driveway. Amongst the tall trees and Cadillacs, Leeds Road, or as I called it at 3 years old, Weeds Woad. Service ed bots, it'd always end in a fight, come to blows like anything competitive and physical between relatives. Ohio State played Notre Dame. My heart was devoted to college football till John Cooper got paid $1 million a year to lose to Michigan. Eddie George won the Heisman Trophy and guest starred on Coach after they went pro and moved to Florida. Pick up football in empty lots, vacant space, with Byron, with Ricky Rutland, with Brandon West, John Addington, interception, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Football's not so bad, but it's not the most interesting thing to cloak a region. Where I come from, I was raised on beatnik parents watching out of curiosity, teaching me about Tangled Up in Blue, which as a song shows up at all angles, singing between freshmen on South Green under the elevated promenade, head like a sunroof from dining hall to true house. Do you have a meal plan? Bob has his own bus. Oracular transcendentalism and word dysphoria. Post-anti-disestablishmentarianism. The Batmobile lost its wheel and the Joker got away. Crying at work. Having a baby with my arch nemesis.
Ted Bergen had told me that he'd written his MA on George Bernard Shaw. And I read a biography of Shaw, and in it there was an episode where he made up, based on an aphorism by Voltaire, he made up a new one. Because Shaw's thought humans were basically twisted. And he said, once a philosopher, twice a pervert. You can make sense of it. And it also makes me think of the wonderful, generous Morris Goldie, who in a conversation many years ago once said, which reminds me of a German joke, which is no laughing matter. So let's get on to Andre.
Dylan and B. There are no songs inside the gates of Eden. For Bob Dylan, April 2nd, 2016. In the rarefied realm where we poets work, words sometimes appear to be glowing, singular events in a thick darkness that doesn't know its age and has no fear of posterity. It is a meteor shower or an early song by Bob Dylan.
I took my brother to see it on his birthday because he's a total Dylan follower. There's this amazing moment where he turns to John Goodman and says, "It's not enough to know what things mean. Sometimes you gotta know what things don't mean." Well, the whole thing was worth it for that. This is called Signed by the Yankees. The mother of 6 in Baltimore said of the police, "This motherfuckers takes one step into my house, I'll take out the baseball bat. It's an American heirloom signed by Babe Ruth. It's a treasure, itching for righteousness."
This is one reason I dislike Paul Valéry. Always adding business, brimstone to a nice chicken soup. Words may be money, but often they're just stones, pretending to be dumplings. They have the face denomination of my appetite, and I have no use for them if I'm not hungry. One is that I want
Your father's worst nightmare by the Schuylkill River. Throw that takeaway rolling over that lake. To my cell phone alone I sing. Dance me to the end of 2nd Avenue. Last Saturday of summer. Star Black started the series in the 90s. She would make books with Bill Knott, teaching at colleges in Michigan. The Atlantic cities washing in the surf and hurricanes. Uncle Rat and Miss Mouse. Michigan J. Frog. Him a Hackles Hawk. A universe more than a world. The oceans of nonsense pierce our ears, noses, nipples. Slipping cock ring through Hellfire Club made him come 4 times. Gotham Comedy Club is the letter G. Whether to sound like Browning Society, a club under the 59th Street Bridge 3 nights a week like a tree, 42 blackbirds. The golden age of Silicon Valley is over. Your place was presently a book, a concentration of the world's finest people as you get older. As you get older, the weather takes a toll. Larry hates New York, so does my dad. As the buildings are pinking like steak, bleeding into charbroiled night, the sky is boiling. Citizens are LARPing as if this were a real town, and they are RPG characters within it. Living is an RPG that's being swallowed in the simulation, smothered by the singularity, a hilarious synthesis of computer and human. I like to go deep just sitting on my couch till tomorrow, having friends over, but I don't have any friends. We had dinner, what's for dessert? Squid and egg noodle, pasta, mansard roofs and garret adjutments, T-Mobile, Steak Shack, construction trailers, scaffolding, cranes, pulleys. Radio knobs turn down that dial, rated PG-13 for drug use, reckless honesty, lazy technique, and first take aesthetics. Cock-sucking, foul language, fuckhead, want at least one birthday in the house. Women's awareness of energy is off the charts. They can tell when any little thing is going on. Performing at the Apollo Theater in Harlem or recording at a small studio in Philadelphia on a day off on the tour. Cobbled Bank Street down to the river like watercolors drizzle. Saturday feels like a Tuesday, 'cause shows tomorrow and day after, filming yesterday and Wednesday, another show Friday. Booked week training or replacements, being kind to the interns and comfortable socially with people half my age. I'm twice as old as you, praying from my hands, talking out of both sides of my mouth. I'd like to tour down Hudson, but I have to work on my career. Last of Elizabeth Street Garden reading of the summer. End of an era, a new one begins.